Hello there! My name is Harry and welcome to Team 3, where right now it is build time. Over the next however many weeks, we will be endeavouring to build ourselves a magnificent steampunk city, complete with all the bells and whistles and gears and turbines and whatever else comes with a steampunk build. Quick introduction, if you're new to the channel, yes, my name is Harry. Basically, I run the show here, but I am hardly ever alone because there is a whole host of great guides involved in the channel who help me on my various projects. So, what is going on here then? Well, I've just booted up a random new world and located this awesome spot which we thought would be just perfect for a steampunk style city because of the water for ships and that floating island in the middle. So right now we're just going around with world edit and getting rid of all of those pesky trees so that we can have a big clean space to start working on. And as you can see, we've just gone under that floating mountain to thin it out a little bit and make it look like it's really floating, and to change its shape to give it a look that it's just sort of separated from the land and started floating, because steampunk witchcraft shenanigans, there's a reason there somewhere, you can find it yourself probably. For this build time series, I've had my friend Joe helping me out, which is just amazing because he is a phenomenal Minecraft builder. If you saw the last video on the channel, which I will link to on the screen now, he was the guy behind the Back to the Future style clock tower and that amazing steam train and bridge in our Wild West town, as well as helping me out with all of the other bits, including that really big mountain. So yeah, credit to him. He knows what he's doing. If you're wondering why this actually looks really nice, like so much better than normal Minecraft, it's because we're using the GLSL shaders mod with Sonic Ether's unbelievable shaders, and it is wonderful. This is a life-saving mod. If you can run it, run it. Even if you're just doing normal survival Minecraft or modded Minecraft, it doesn't matter. It is just beautiful. You have got to try it for once in your life if you've not tried it yet. Give it a go. It's free, as all mods are. You've got nothing to lose. If you can run it, do it. So good. So good. So, yeah, back to the build. We've just started with a bit of terraforming, as you've seen, just making sure the landscape is generally how we want it before we start building. We're not completely sure what we're going to include in this build, so please, if you have any suggestions, do let us know in the comments, because we will be looking at them and including any ideas that we really like. We want you guys to be a part of this, and to be completely honest with you, we haven't got a full plan yet. So, yes, help us out with that. That would be really nice. Thank you so much. As you can see, we're just building up the shape of the harbour now with that wall there out of stone bricks, and then we're just going along it and using the stack command and world edit to extend that wall to meet the ground so it's not floating like that. If you're wondering what texture pack we're using as well, it's the John Smith Legacy Pack. It's got 1,000,001 versions, so whatever version of Minecraft you're using, you should be able to find it. The next thing to do was to go along this quite blank wall and add a butt ton of lovely texture to make it look more realistic. You can see us using this arrangement of stone brick outcrops and darkwood stairs stacked on top of one another, as well as using stone brick stairs underneath these to texture out that bottom part of the wall. The texturing of the wall actually got pretty difficult when we got to the areas of the wall that weren't all flat and straight. Firstly, we couldn't just copy and paste it using world edit like we had been with the flat sections, and also it sort of changed the nature of how the pattern sat on the wall. It had different areas that needed to stick out and different areas that needed to go in. It just got a little bit more complicated, so we took a little bit longer on that bit, but we got there in the end. After we had finished this wall, we both grabbed big air sphere brushes from World Edit and started to dig away at the bottom of the bay. To start with, this was actually quite a shallow area of water, which just wouldn't do for the big harbour ships that we wanted to dock there. After making a horrific mess of this water, Joe then used the fix water command from World Edit to bring the water level back up again, and that was really good, and it just meant that we could deepen that whole channel and not mess up the water on top. I actually managed to mess up the footage very slightly here, so apologies for that, but that explains the little jump in our build with that second wall design and pier just appearing out of nowhere. But that second wall design is identical to the first, and it just serves as a little barrier to protect the industrial port area from whatever may be lurking in those woods, and also to separate the region from the wilderness area out there. So, now, here we are with our first building! Hooray! Well, it's not technically a building, actually. Being an industrial port area, we thought that it would need a whole bunch of cranes and ways to transport goods on and off of cargo ships turning up at the city. This was actually one of Joe's projects, so he essentially just built a big cuboid frame out of nether bricks and filled that in with some nether brick stairs to create cross supports for it. Along the top, he used more nether brick stairs, nether brick slabs, and nether brick fences to create the structure of the top of the crane, and you can see at the end he made a counterweight with a bunch of stone bricks. He also created a little bit of cargo to be carried by the crane at the end of the arm. You can't quite see this in the footage though, because it's hiding down there behind the pier. Next on the agenda was to lay out the streets of the port area. We decided that we'd have one big long main street which would be really narrow, as it would be arched over by buildings with big overhangs on their upper floors. That's what all this crazy coloured wool means. It won't actually be there at the end of the build, so don't worry about that. We definitely wanted a small square area or gathering space in the region, so we left a slightly bigger open space around the middle. And that red circle that I keep messing up the size of is the plan for a big circular tower that will eventually form part of a bridge that will link this port area to the main floating island in the middle. Down there amongst the wool, you can just see Joe building some containers for materials and goods. I really liked the way that he used minecart tracks to added bindings for the lumps of resources. I thought that was really clever. Now this time, we really are starting our first building. Cue hooray! Hooray! This green square that was... Sorry. This green square that we're starting to develop is the plan for the first warehouse of the region. For once, this bit was actually one of my ideas, and I probably sound a little bit too proud about that considering this is my channel, but whatever. I looked at a load of reference images before we started, and something that I knew we'd need to include in our buildings were ridiculous overhangs, and that's why you could see that building jutting outwards unnaturally like that. I also feel like me and Joe were really working well as a team here. This is completely unpracticed and undiscussed, by the way, but you can see as I'm mapping out the structure of the walls, he's also going along and building supports and cross beams to speed up the building process. I assume this is what like professional build teams would do, so hey, we're one step of the way there. Okay, so this big section I'm working on now is the outline of the roof. Yes, it is insanely big, like half the height of the building, kind of big, but that's the style we're going for, and you'll just have to see later that it does work out. Hey, look at that, look right there. Texture! That's right, Joe is building texture. Very important. My favourite bit of the front of this building is that little suspended log block he's got going on there between those fence posts. I have no idea what that is, but I really like it, and I think it looks great. So, kudos. I've never said that word before, kudos. What does it mean? I'll have to look that up. Along the other side of the building, I built up these walls with stone bricks with a textured area of dark wood stairs in the middle. All this is broken up at regular intervals with that log support structure that you can see there. And I copied and pasted this twice just to extend that wall backwards. And you can see that Joe and I just went back and made like a couple of adjustments to the detail of that middle one, just to make sure the pattern didn't get too repetitive. Now, onto the roof structure, and my god, was this difficult. Our intention was to break up the shape of the roof so it didn't look too blocky, which, in Minecraft, a game about blocks, is just as difficult as you might imagine. We did this by having some areas of the roof slightly raised higher than others, and you can see that we're doing all of this in dark wood blocks and dark wood stairs. And there it is. Thank you, universe, for world edit. We copied that other side of the roof and pasted it onto this closer side, just saving us a whole load of time and hair loss through stress and sadness and crying. To the back of the building, very similar structure to the front, but you can see that as it gets dark, I just come along and create a couple of hanging lanterns with glowstone and fences, and it looks really nice at night time with this shaders mod. Okay, and that's just about it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you obviously care about what we're doing, which is really nice. Here's a couple of flybys of the building at night, just to show it off in its surroundings. Oh, and I also didn't mention those streetlights that you can see dotted around. That's just simple glowstone and fence posts too, like the lanterns that I built earlier. Again, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world. If you want to help us out, please do leave any suggestions in the comment section below, and don't forget to leave us a like and a subscribe for more of this series and the other content we've got lined up, and there is some good stuff lined up, so I hope you will join us for that. And the only thing left to say is I will see you all next time. Goodbye!